Thanks, Tom. We've had a great ride together. I don't know when it's going to end, but it'll end at some point. We've had a lot of fun, and as Tom said, we've had our ups and downs, gone through some good times and bad times, but it's been great, and Canterbury is so much better for having Tom Sheehy here. Good morning to all of you, and congratulations to this class, the class's parents, and to all the Canterbury community who moved these graduates along so successfully. Coming up here today, I was reminiscing about myself and Canterbury. I only came for 1 year. I came my senior year, and I didn't come willingly. It was back in the days when your parents told you what you did, and you said, "Yes, Dad." And I wasn't doing real well in my prior school. My father told me I was starting a new school, so yes, Dad. Came up here, and it was culture shock. Everybody was so prepped out. Oh my God, it was Brooks Brothers squared. There was one guy in our class who dressed like my friends from high school, and we called him Hood. Back then, Hood was the equivalent of gangbangers, so he was Hood. One of the things I remember most are breakfasts. I don't know who the chef was back then, but back in those days, we had these awesome breakfasts. We would have to eat with one of the teachers, and they had hard-boiled eggs that weren't quite hard. They were like semi-soft hard-boiled eggs. And you had muffins that were indescribable but fabulous, and you could eat as many eggs and as many muffins as you wanted. That was the highlight of the day. It was fabulous. And I would eat 3, 4 eggs in the morning and 4 or 5 muffins with lots of marmalade. It was fabulous. The other thing that stood out as I got to know some of my classmates was, this is a high-performance school. We had some prodigious jocks, the sacristans were special. I roomed with Bill O'Connor, a sacristan, and some formidable intellects. Our class, and this was back in the days that college admissions were a lot different than they were today, but over 65% of my class went to Ivies or Ivy equivalents. So it was a powerhouse class, and you had to perform. I mean, you had to stay with the program in order to be one of the guys. It was a wonderful experience. I made lifelong friends, including Bill O'Connor, who's here today. We roomed at Canterbury, we roomed at Princeton, and he's here today. Bill's a former chairman of the board, a Canterbury medal winner, and I'm proud to have him here today. Canterbury for me was a wonderful experience. It was a life-changing experience. And I'm really proud to be here, and I thank Tom and Bob for having me as the speaker. This is really for the grads, and a lot of what was said earlier, I'll kind of cover some of the same territory, so excuse me, we didn't coordinate our speeches, so I'll be covering some of the same territory. I hope it's complementary rather than redundant. 4 years from now, you grads will probably be at your college graduation, and you'll be listening to some old coot like me trying to tell you how to live the next 4 years of your life. I hope at that point, when you get out of college, you think back at Canterbury and think what it gave you and how it helped you through your college life. The first and most obvious thing is academics. I think you're going to find that you were really well prepared, and that's obviously the object of going to school like Canterbury. But second, and maybe not as obvious, are the issues that Tom and Father Sebastian pointed out this morning, and that's the moral and spiritual aspects of what you learned at Canterbury and what that will do for you later in life. For most of you, college will be the first time you're going to spend a lot of time without any adult supervision. There aren't going to be any wake-up calls, no parents, no teachers, no dorm heads, nobody checking admissions. You're going to be on your own, and I can see you smiling over there, and you're thinking, yeah, I can hardly wait. Yeah, baby, this is going to be fantastic. Well, it sounds like heaven. No rules, no supervision, nobody checking out. Sounds like heaven, and it's pretty good. But freedom from supervision doesn't mean that values and rules and common sense don't still apply. In fact, of all the tools you take from Canterbury, learning to live away from home, learning the academic skills you have, probably the most important thing that you're going to take to college, the most important benefits you'll take to college from Canterbury is your Catholic heritage, your religious heritage, and the 5 values, and the importance of them to you. When I was in college, I read a very impactful book for me. It was by a man named Eric Fromm, and it was called Escape from Freedom. He postulated that if you come from a rules-based society and you go into a society where there are no rules, at first you have this great feeling of independence, and then you start feeling anxious, and then you feel alone, and then you feel isolated. And that you'll find that having rules and having a moral framework is very important, otherwise you don't know how you're doing. You need this moral framework in order to understand how you're doing. Imagine playing a sport like football without having lines, goalposts, or rules. What's the point? You need rules. So you need a community with shared values in order to appreciate yourselves and appreciate each other. Absence of rules lead to bad outcomes. So regardless of what your faith was when you came here, we are Catholic, but we are also welcoming to other faiths. Most of you bought in, and I could see that this morning at this morning's Mass service, most of you brought into the full spiritual experience here, and that includes Sunday services, daily Mass, leadership retreats, religious retreats, peer ministry meetings, and other spiritual activities that all bound you into our Catholic community. The 5 values, which you all know cold: respect, honesty, spirituality, compassion, self-reliance, complement the Catholicism and the religious aspect of what you did here. So you come out as a more refined person from the point of view of spirituality and morality, and that's what you're really going to take to college. So in the next 4 years, you're undoubtedly going to find yourself in complex situations, moral situations, interpersonal, ethical challenges, where you're challenged. With your background that you have right now, making the correct decision is going to be a lot easier, because you know where the goalposts are, you know what the rules are, you know what the right thing to do is. And that's what you're going to bring, and you're going to find making those decisions is a lot easier because of your Canterbury experience. So you're going on to college, have a great experience. Try everything. Try everything academically, I'm talking about. Broaden yourself out. A lot of you, because of what's going on in the world, are going to become business majors. Business is very good, but skip the unimportant business subjects. Take some art, take some music. Don't pass on math. If you're math phobic, take statistics. If you're science phobic, take astronomy, take geology. Don't pass on math and science. That's where the world is today. Give yourself a full education. Be careful of some of the social sciences. Anything that ends with science that's a soft science is probably not too scientific. Be skeptical of courses that are studies. Anything that's studies is also coming in with an attitude. But whatever, broaden yourself out, have the full experience, be able to look back and say, wow, I got the most I could have possibly gotten out of college, and I really appreciate what Canterbury did for me to make that all a lot easier. Most important, when you hit those moral or ethical crossroads, reach back to your Canterbury experience, do the right thing, make yourself proud, make your parents proud, make Canterbury proud. Thank you very much.